is Ruby Ranty, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make banana bread. Banana bread is such a quick and easy bread. It doesn't involve yeast or rising time, so you can kind of whip it up whenever you want. It's a great way to use those old bananas that are getting kind of brown. I know we've all been in that situation where you buy a bundle of bananas and then you eat a couple and then you're like, I actually don't want these anymore, and then they just sit on your counter getting brown. Well, if you just throw those in the freezer and then whenever you're ready, bring it back out, let them thaw on your counter, mash them up, throw them into your bread. Delicious. Everybody loves it. You can eat it for breakfast or dessert if you want. You can bring it to functions. There's a lot of different ways you can make it. Today we're just going to be doing a loaf, but we usually do like muffins. My sisters love making it. My 11-year-old sister will just whip this up by herself and she'll do like the little mini muffins or like little mini loaves. So it's very versatile. I already kind of got started. I just measured out our ingredients. Don't mind my giant mug being used as a bowl for our dry ingredients. I couldn't find anything else. So let's get started. Since I already measured this out, I'm just going to demonstrate really quickly how to measure out dry ingredients, because baking is a science. And in chemistry, you wouldn't just be throwing around measurements and throwing around dangerous chemicals and like not measuring things, because that's dangerous. And in baking, it's not as dangerous, but we don't want your product to turn out gross. That's the whole point, is to make something yummy. So that starts with the measuring. So when you're measuring dry ingredients, like let's just say flour is the best example. We're gonna pretend this is all just flour. You're gonna get a big scoop here, and instead of just swiping off the top that can create like craters in there, we're gonna give it a rough chop, and then we just go like that, and there we have it. This is 1/4 of a cup. It's a perfect measurement. So that is one way, or the way, we measure dry ingredients. And we won't do wet ingredients right now, that is for a different time. So in this bowl, we have flour, salt, and baking soda. And then in this bowl, we have our wet ingredients, which is sugar, butter, melted butter, eggs, and vanilla. And I just mixed that up so it's fully combined, and then I gave this just a rough little mix so that that's fully combined. The reason why we do these separately is because we want to make sure the little things like the salt and the baking soda, and if you're using like baking powder or even the vanilla, for example, those can get incorporated, because we wouldn't want to just dump this all in a bowl and then you just have a chunk of salt over here and a chunk of baking soda or baking powder over here. Obviously that wouldn't work out well. We need everything to be fully combined. So we're going to start by doing that. I have this in a little bit of a bigger bowl because we're always going to put our dry ingredients into our wet ingredients unless the recipe states otherwise. So here we go. I'm just going to add about half. And mixing is pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, we're just going to mix this up. I have my little spatula here. But there is such a thing as overmixing, which we do not want to do. Like I said, baking is a science, and if you overmix, it can cause your bread to not rise as well. But all recipes are different. Like for example, when you're making things like pancakes or waffles, they tell you to actually undermix. Depends on your recipe. You want to make sure you read that recipe all the way through before you get started. So at this point, it's getting a little hard to stir. So we've got this like batter thick batter. Then we're gonna add our secret ingredient, which is sour cream. This is gonna make that bread super moist and just delicious. I measured out a half a cup and just threw it in this bigger cup. I'm gonna mix that right in. Doesn't look very appetizing at this point, but trust me, it will get better. Okay, and then here are my bananas that have just been sitting out on my counter all morning. And I've just left them in the peel until I'm ready to use them. Then I kind of squeeze them out because they're a little bit mushy. And then mash them up if they need to be, which these ones did. And yeah, then you just throw them in here and we just give that like a quick fold. We just want it to be just combined, and then once it's all like combined and I can kind of tell that there's banana everywhere, I'm done. So I greased this pan up with cooking spray. I just have this like coconut cooking spray. If you don't have cooking spray, you can use a little bit of softened butter. Just put that on some parchment paper and spread that around, and that is just as good. I know a lot of people use flour after they use some sort of like oil or grease. I'm kind of getting stuff everywhere. I don't really use flour. I just do a good job greasing it up and then I leave it. So this is gonna go in the oven for I think about an hour, and I'm gonna let it cool and eat it with some butter. So yeah, that is our banana bread. Like I said, this is an amazing crowd pleaser. Everybody loves it. I'm serious. It was super quick. You saw how fast I did that. Today we've got it in a loaf, but like I said, we can do muffins, mini loaves. I've even seen people do like those mini bundt cakes. And yeah, I used up all my old bananas, so now my freezer is clear. Thank you so much for watching.